Boris Johnson's former chief advisor Dominic Cummings has said the British Prime Minister is unfit for office in an extraordinary attack on his handling of the COVID pandemic. During more than 6 hours of revealing evidence to MPs, Mr Cummings admitted ministers, officials and advisors had fallen dangerously short to the pandemic and that tens of thousands of people died needlessly. He claims Boris Johnson initially dismissed COVID as a scare story, saying it's completely crackers. He's the Prime Minister.
Fundamentally, I regarded him as unfit for the job, and I was trying to create a structure around him to try and stop what I thought were extremely bad decisions and push other things through against his wishes. If you took anybody at random from the kind of top 1% competent people in this country and presented them with the situation, they would have behaved differently to how the Prime Minister behaved.
Mr Cummings went on to reveal the Prime Minister had initially wanted to be injected with COVID-19 on live TV to prove it was merely a scare tactic. He also said Boris Johnson had to be badgered into ordering lockdowns.
There's a great misunderstanding people have that because it nearly killed him, therefore he must have taken it seriously. But in fact, after the first lockdown, his view was he was cross with me and for others into what he regarded as basically pushing him into the first lockdown. His argument after that happened was, literally, quote, I should have been the mayor of Jaws and kept the beaches open. That's what he said on many, many occasions.
Mr Cummings claims the PM was prepared to let the bodies pile high, then announce a circuit breaker lockdown. He says he and other senior officials called on the Prime Minister to fire Health Secretary Matt Hancock for at least 15 to 20 issues, including lying.
Hancock wanted to be able to go on TV and say, look at me, my 100k target. It was criminal, disgraceful behaviour that caused serious harm. I said repeatedly from February, March, if we don't fire the Secretary of State and if we don't get the testing into someone else's hands, we are going to kill people and it's going to be a catastrophe.
Mr Cummings sparked outrage last year for breaking strict COVID lockdown rules he helped draft, making a cross-country dash while suffering COVID symptoms after his wife contracted the virus. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has dismissed his former aide's criticisms.
Handling of this pandemic has been one of the most difficult things this country has had to do for a very long time. And none of the decisions have been easy. To go into a lockdown is a traumatic thing for a country. To deal with a pandemic on this scale has been appallingly difficult. And we've at every stage tried to minimise loss of life, to save lives, to protect the NHS.